Hello and welcome to a special episode of the Rangers Rabble breaking news. And it's on Twitter anyway. I haven't seen it announced officially by Rangers, but it appears that Alfredo Morelos has been charged by the SFA or the SPFL or whoever it is for the challenge on, what was his name again? Porteous.
Ryan Porteous.
His challenge on Porteous and obviously the game on Wednesday there. Wilf, we spoke about it. We spoke about it on the live reaction, and we spoke about it on the podcast that was released today. No real surprise, is it?
No, I'm not surprised at all. I thought you might have got away with one because I know Claire White, the former compliance officer, left her job last week, and I've only just literally found out is that they've now employed a legal firm to do the job that she used to do. That's according to Andy Newport, who answered a tweet. I quoted a tweet of his and said, "I'm surprised because what did she do if the complaints were coming out and she's not still in the job?" But apparently that's what's happened. They've now got a legal team in doing it for them. So, but no, I'm not at all surprised. But I think that if that merits citing, which it probably does because it was a bit naughty, then surely Darren McGregor's does as well. Well,
that was another thing that came out, Scott, today, and I know you've just finished work and I've dragged you onto this, and I apologise, but three ex-professional referees had a look at the Darren McGregor incident and found it to be no more than a yellow card.
It's interesting, isn't it?
Mm-mm. Is there much of it? Well, let's try and take the kind of blue tinted specs off a wee bit. Was there any difference between the two tackles?
Well, yeah. I mean, there is a difference between the two tackles. I mean, as I said on the pod, when I initially looked at the Morelos thing, I thought it was more of a coming together, but it is clear that he does come down and he does land on Porteous. I think the Darren McGregor one's actually probably more sinister because both of them are coming off the pitch and he's shoved Kamara into the advertising board. He's then stood on him. Now, whether he's intentionally stood him or not, he's endangered an opponent. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, he's got a yellow card for it, but in the hindsight of VAR or whatever technology world that we don't or do cannot live in, I mean, it warrants further looking at, and I don't really understand the process anymore. I don't understand what law firm, and we can probably hazard a guess what law firm the SPFL uses to determine who's getting cited and who's not, and then the three referees. Well, who are these three referees? If they are going to do it and have consistency, which I think is probably the main gripe with all this, the fact that there isn't consistency, needs to be clarity behind it. Because if you're going to have these panels and these three referees, they need to be the same three referees that started the season and finished the season. Are they the same three referees? Well, we don't know. We don't have clarity. We don't have consistency. And it's a massive source of frustration for everyone, particularly when you see other identical challenges, not the McGregor one, but there's other identical challenges where a precedent's been set and not been punished. I think that's the issue. I've got no qualms with Morelos getting cited or being punished for the incident because, well, on the face of it, it's probably correct. But when they've already set a precedent, well, surely that's got to be adhered to.
That is the big furore, I suppose, Wilf, as well. I've not seen anybody online who says, look, that was a red card. Sorry, that wasn't a red card. It was a clear red card. And if the processes were being followed correctly and Morelos was cited for this, we would all sit back and go, oh, well, listen, that's fully deserved. But over the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, nobody has been getting cited for challenges. All of a sudden, they've got this new law firm and Morelos is cited.
Yeah, I agree. It's the citing of him, I saw it coming because it should have been a red card. But as you say, nobody's saying it wasn't a red card. But a lot of people are saying on first viewing, which is all the referee gets, it didn't look that bad. Mm-hmm. So what they're basically doing now is they're re-refereeing games, which is what they said they didn't want to do. You know what I mean? They've said, the referee said to Darren McGregor says the referee said to him, look, I saw it, didn't think he meant it, so I didn't do anything about it. So what they've now done is gone back and re-refereed the game. So if they're going to do that, bring in VAR and just re-referee it at the time. Instead of,
100%.
and then that way we'll get some consistency.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what people miss as well is I think either the start of last season they actually brought in a change to the rules that said if the compliance officer or if the 3 referees or Bill and Ben, the flower pot men, deem that the referee got it wrong or missed something during a game, then they are allowed to go back. But it's only the SFA that allow this. And it's only them that use it as and when they choose to. They don't use it all the way for every single incident. It's again the coin trial by sports scene. Whichever incident gains the most traction or the most scrutiny after the game is the one that gets looked at. So if we create hysteria around certain footballers that have certain challenges, surely the precedent's set because it doesn't always happen. Otherwise, you've got how many games are played over a weekend? So there's 20 odd games, professional football games in Scotland played over a weekend, but it's only ever seems to be 1 or 2 where incidents get picked up. Now I've played football. I know that during the course of a football match, there are incidents. It's 90 minutes. There's going to be like 4 or 5 incidents that probably get missed by the referee. But it's a very rare occurrence that it does, and it always seems to be a Rangers player that it affects.
And it always seems to be Alfredo Morelos as well.
Yeah, and look, this is what I don't want to try and take away from this because we're not doing this because, oh, look, Morelos has been cited. And I don't want to sound like a supporter of a team that says everybody's against them. But, well, there's been so much evidence since Alfredo Morelos has came to this country that he's treated differently.
Yeah, I mean, even just go back to the game with Hibs on Wednesday night that he's been cited for. I mean, the commentators never shut up about it. The whole, from the minute it happened, even when he was off the park, even once Alfredo had gone off and been substituted, they still went on and on and on about it. And they didn't give the Darren McGregor one a second look. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think they maybe showed one replay of it. That was it. They showed the Morelos one every break and play. Mm-hmm. Well, it seemed to be every break and play they showed it. You know, there's like you say, there's not one of us saying, yeah, he should probably be charged because it was naughty. But it's why is it always him? Why was there not all this uproar where after a game at Pittodrie when the boy was
Curtis Main, yeah.
Curtis Main, when he made that ridiculous challenge. I mean, McInnes took him off straight away because he knew what was going to happen. Mm-hmm. He knew if he didn't take him off, he was getting sent off. So why did they not go back and have a look at that? If they're going to look at one, they have to look at it all. They have to treat everybody the same. Mm-hmm. Or just trust the referee to make mistakes and get on with the game.
I know, and listen, Scott, this we could speak about this for about another hour, but I don't want to make this too long because my missus is due home. So the relationship between Rangers supporters, possibly Rangers Football Club, and the SPFL and SFA has been strained probably for a long time. I think you would agree, and it's incidents like this that drive supporters and possibly the club further away from the governing body.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I've got my own ideas of what the governing body should look like and what it should do. And a lot of it is down to transparency and communication going forward, because if it carries on like this, there's 2 flows and they're going in completely different directions. And for me, the Rangers support, which is the biggest footballing community support in Scotland, should be working with the footballing authorities, but it's not. It's not happening. It's not, and it's getting worse. It's getting beyond repair. People are perhaps swayed by their political viewpoints and taking that personally, and using it against. You just know there's a communication breakdown there, or there's a lack of respect at some point in that process, and it needs to be repaired. And we can't carry on like this for the foreseeable. Something's got to give. Something's got to change. And yeah,
listen,
I don't know where to start.
A certain director of a certain football club's resigning at the end of the season, so maybe that might help change the game in this country for the better. But Wilf, just finally then, do you expect Rangers to appeal this?
Nope, don't think they will at all.
No, just
No.
straight no.
No, I don't think they'll appeal it.
Scott, do you think they'll
I don't
appeal
think
it?
they've got no grounds to. I mean, what can they possibly appeal? The fact that it wasn't a red card. All they can do is turn up and go, right, okay, we're going to appeal this, and we're going to appeal it on the basis that a precedent has been set, that you guys have looked at this and you've decided that, let's take, for example, Lee Griffiths, right? You looked at his stamp, or was it Hamilton? You've looked at his stamp and you said, right, he didn't do that intentionally. Well, we're going to argue Alfredo Morelos didn't do that intentionally. Now, you proved to me that you got inside Lee Griffiths' head and you deemed that he didn't do that intentionally, and you do the same for Alfredo Morelos. That is the only thing they can do. And they're just going to look at it and just go, well, he stamped on him. It should have been a red card. Off you go. Well, what about Lee Griffiths? Well, who gives a toss? That was months ago.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, Scott, that Rangers don't do what about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why I don't think they'll appeal it. They'll accept it, but I do believe that they'll make representations to whoever they need to, whether it's this firm of solicitors or the SPFL or the SFA or whoever. We don't even know who it is that we need to be talking to say, look, all we're looking for is a fair crack of the whip, a fair playing field. You know,
I know.
What goes for a year, we'll accept this, but what about when other teams do it? I mean, there's no excuse. The excuse used to be, well, it's happening at Rangers because we're always on the telly and it's a high profile stuff. Every game's on the telly just now. There's video footage, every game's screened live, whether it's on a club channel or on a national broadcaster. So there is no excuse for them missing anything in any game.
I know, and listen, guys, this is a debate that could rumble on, but I think we'll just leave it there before one of us says something that might get us into a bit of bother. Listen, gents, thanks very much for coming on at such short notice.
No problem at all, man.
And we shall see how this.
Thanks for winding me up.
And we shall see how this debate rumbles on, but it really is an absolute. The SPFL and the SFA are an absolute joke. But anyways, we'll see you all very soon. Thanks for watching.